Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. This should be week 6, I think. We're here joined with special guests. We have GodAcog, we have DanielKarioka, and TopaV. 3 of some of the best players in our server, actually. So I'm very blessed, very honored to have all of you guys. I really appreciate having you guys here. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. I guess I want to just
thank
get
you for
right
having
into
us.
it. But, well, actually, no, I don't. First thing I want to ask is, how do you guys feel about the way this last season ended? Did you guys feel okay with like the season overall as it was coming to a close? Did you feel really weird about it? Did it feel really good for you? Like what was your kind of take on that? It's a little bit of a bonus question in here. So I know a lot of you guys were pushing for high ranks.
I don't know. I honestly was just waiting for the balance patch. I was just waiting for it to be over.
I feel
I
like
don't know.
I feel like that was a lot of people just wanting the season to end. That's always the case. Like people started camp really early, just wanted the season to end. Obviously, the season counts for SWC as well. So I found it a lot more difficult to push, I guess, this season, partly due to probably more being somewhat oppressive, but and not having that unit, but then also more people playing and so on.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Karaoke? I say you finished with a high rank there.
I'm not finished right ranking, bro. I just finished one place good, you know. But this season for me is like the first season I did really well, bro. I did my best, and I did my last wing on Sunday, and we have 6 days for close season, and I only try help the community, try help people get new ranks, but this whole season is really hard because the updates on RTA, like for buy light dark scrolls, like more cheapy scrolls, it's really a lot of players doing wings because now he can buy scrolls really fast, like elemental scrolls, legendary piece, something like that, you know. And the people try get C1 has like 30k people fighting for one C1, bro. It's really crazy. When I start play, it's like maybe 10k people try get C1, but now the shop the RTA is really good, and the people, oh, I need to do because I need to buy runes, I need to buy peace, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. We definitely saw a
Definitely more
huge influx of
players.
players.
Yeah.
And this season, I think Topa can speak well too. We have a lot of comp difference, a lot of traps because in 3 seasons before it's a lot Ganihato, but now you have a lot of units because has Beast Riders, Chongpong, uh, Okeanos, something like that, you know. Has a lot of trap and a lot of Junos game, Verde Raio, Water Raio, Savannah. Has a lot of units for play right now, and if you miss it, some units you can still play because you have another's, you know.
Yeah, the meta feels really strict, but at the same time, like there are options, which is kind of weird. Like
Yeah.
when you get really high up, I feel like there's not really as many options, but like in the mid tier range, like in the G1 range, I feel like you can really play with different things.
It was pretty tough, like trying to compete without the units, honestly. At some point you would be in G3, at some point you would be dropped to C3. Like that's how I felt it. It was like my rank was changing so much that I just didn't know what to do. It was just very weird season. I felt like I had a lot of problems with people taking the units that I use because I don't have the counter by taking their units. Like Water Ryu, Chongpong, I don't have those units. So as soon as someone takes the O key, like you can feel the blow. You know, you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty. It was pretty monster reliant this season. I don't know. I didn't like it too much.
What about you, Topo? How did you feel? Do you feel like it was really swingy as well in terms of like point gain and loss, or was it kind of pretty stable for you?
Yeah, this is actually like the first season where I really noticed the point swing in a while. This is also like I said, I was struggling earlier, or like I said earlier, I was struggling this season. It actually ended with a sub 70 win rate in the first time in over 2 years now. So and also had like the biggest point swing since most of the season I was in top 20, but then like come last month of the season I actually fell out of top 100 even, and that hasn't really happened in a few years. So yeah, definitely swingy.
Yeah, that's scary. Sub 70 after 2 years is like conceptually that's like you think like, oh, like sub 70 is not a big deal. Like he's just like still right there. But like when you really think about it, like 2 years of 70% win rate to drop into that below 70 is a pretty significant impact. It shows that things have changed quite a bit, right? There's less dominant of these comps are specifically really strong and these units are specifically really strong. And now it's like you kind of have to play around everything. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess that was just the kind of bonus question I wanted to go into. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it because I've been thinking about it a lot. People have been asking me about it a lot, and frankly, I thought the season was kind of shit. Like, even though I summoned all those units, I just felt bad for anyone who didn't have them because it just wasn't fun. And
Yeah.
even having all the units, I really wasn't really having that much fun either. It was just a lot of pain, a lot of pain for everybody.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of pain, let's talk about the Legend Tournament. Topic number 1. Legend Tournament. Let's discuss is Okeanos the worst Swift unit in the game? What do you guys think? 3 first turn,
Yeah.
skill 2 misses.
Yeah,
Still wins the match, but not by a significant margin.
Yeah,
So-
honestly, when I see Okeanos built on Swift and RTA these days, I'm like, wait, why? I feel like just Violent is such a dominant build for him right now. Yeah, Swift, of course, it's still good, but I just feel like Violent is way better. But yeah, if you miss that to reset, if you really, really need it, it's gonna hurt you a lot, for sure.
Tough. I feel like the reason that Swift Okeanos is worse now than it was before is like having an opportunity for units like Moor or Water Ryu to move in front just enables all the other units to not have to be so fast, right?
Yeah.
And it's like if you run your Oki on that Swift build and you rely on him to get that turn 1 like that, if you miss, it's just like it's
Yeah, big
just like it was in the
punishment.
past, right? It's like you drafted around needing that reset and you're probably gonna lose because it's somewhere around like 73% chance to hit, right? Assuming you have max accuracy, it's two checks, right? It's strip
Yeah.
and then it's a reset check. So it's about 73% chance overall to actually hit that. In the grand scheme of things, that's not a very good chance. It's not a very good chance.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
kinda.
I don't know because on G3 we find a lot of people without wheel and I never running for reset the first turn. Topa understand me a lot because we running a lot your home game style and you can stun 2 units to restrip another and give the turn back and try reset and kill with the same time. You don't running to reset. Of course it's good, but you're running for damage sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
Because this I like it. Swift style, okay. Because it's syncing all units with your hung vial is really hard.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of people are swapping over to Swift for that as well.
The thing
Yeah,
with
I guess more specifically. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Topa.
oh sorry, the thing with the Swift Okeanos too is I think for tournament play that 73% chance is fine. Just obviously you're fighting good players and you probably don't really have a higher than 73% chance of winning against them. But then for ladder play, I guess a lot of people are moving on to Violent Okeanos since that obviously has a more comeback potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess
Also
more
thought-
specifically, since we brought up the Oki conversations, like, did you guys feel like were you excited to watch the Legend tournament? Did you feel like it was something you enjoyed? Did you not enjoy it? I kind of want your opinions on that. I actually watched it for the first time yesterday, so I kind of saved myself because I was busy this weekend.
I honestly
No,
watched just the last fight. I didn't have time to catch the other fights, but I watched like the last one because I heard about the Oki misses and all that. So I was very I just wanted to see it. But yeah, I saw like the pre-bans and stuff. there was water Ryu a lot when the opponent didn't have, again, it was hard brick versus Pinkroyd, right? On the last fight.
Yeah, it's dog
When
versus,
he could pick the water Ryu, he didn't ban it when he was getting the first pick. He was banning it every time when he didn't get the first pick. So I was like, always just ban. And we're gonna talk about it later about the balance patch and all that. But yeah, it was kind of funny to see that. And not see the Ryu in the balance patch.
Yeah, that was a little bit on the interesting side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a little bit too soon, but we can definitely kind of delve more into that later on down the road.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the first match, the Pinkroyd win. Oki missy, but he already lost but he won this match. But the Masha missed 2 crits on Juno, and for me I think is misplay, because if he kill Verdehaio in the first moments, he already over the match. And he tried defense break Juno, missed the crit, missed the defense break, ventilate Masha again, tried Juno again, and Missy again, the crits and defense break, and okay, it's that GG. Pinkroyd got the match because Verdehaio plus Tetra Juno can solve the 3v4.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was pretty heavy on the commentary for that. I was like, killing Sierra is like, it's cool because you killed like the main damage threat, but at the same time, you're gonna get rotated on so fast and so hard that you'll never be able to keep your Masha alive, right? And Gianna's not gonna deal any damage with a comp like that. You have a unit that shortens their own attack bar by 45%, and then a unit that shortens everyone's attack bar by 40.
Yeah.
The turn rotation is just insane. I've noticed a lot of people like that Sierra, Juno, Verd. It was actually picked a couple times in the tournament, and it's picked a lot on ladder too. It's picked really heavily on ladder by a lot of the Korean and Japanese G3 players seem to pick that, and it's really effective. So I think that taking that choice for Pink there was good.
Yeah, I was pretty excited for the Legend tournament, but then the outcome was kind of unfortunate. Also, we had three players that have not finished Legend before, and the one player that has gone Legend before obviously gets it again. Just kind of unfortunate. I was really hoping that we would get a new Legend this time around, but it didn't happen. And then obviously, there's only 4 players in the tournament, best of 3, best of 5. It's a pretty short tournament. I guess Comtest doesn't really want to invest too many resources into it. It's not like a big live event or anything. But I really wish that it was like a little bit longer, maybe 8 players, or they make all the matches best of 5 to prevent the RNG swings a little bit more as well.
I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit tough as well, because like if you watch the players, and you actually watch like the way they perform in the tournament plays like this, especially in this best of 3, best of 5 format, like I think that 2 things happen. One, players will begin to tilt, and players will become more comfortable playing against the other person in some cases. So I think hard brick, for example, I think naturally becomes more effective against people after like a couple matches, right? They don't feel comfortable with their ladder drafts, and they really start to play in specifically against what that person has. So like 3rd game draft versus 5th game draft was the one slight difference there was not picking the Gianna, and instead going for that Jaeger, knowing that the slow turn opportunity was great because there's no possible way the Juno Verd could kill it. I think that that's something that benefits certain players and other players. Obviously, I think, after the second Okeanos miss, like tilting does have a factor to it. So I can totally understand like if Pinkroyd was like upset about that and it affected the draft in the future, like I wouldn't blame him at all, because I would be equally upset about something like that, right? I agree with you. I would love to see more. I'd love to see more of a best of 5 series, and maybe even a best of 7 for the finals, just because I think that there's more opportunity for a stronger showing of actual skill. I think we start to see a lot of skill involved with people drafting, people trying out different things, and really like knowing what works against their opponent and what doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing that. I think that it's not that much extra work, to be perfectly honest. And I know that a large portion of the community would probably really enjoy having that longer bit of content. I mean, the Legend tournament only takes, if you skip through all the in-between commentary and stuff, it only takes an hour, maybe a little bit longer. So, if you add the extra matches as a best of 5 and a best of 7, with the 4 players, it ends up being with production value at the most 3 hours.
Great.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Best of 3 shouldn't be a thing at all.
It's
That kind
too
of
hard. I think
tournament.
best of 3 is fine for things like if you're doing qualifiers, because there's like so many players involved that you kind of
Yeah.
need to like sift through the process. But I think once you get down to like actual tournament play, like if we're doing like once you go past the qualifiers, the second you hit like an SWC or if you hit a legend tournament or anything like that, it really needs to become a best of 5 series and
Yeah,
then
for sure.
progressively get longer.
Yeah, the best of 5 is really good because you can get the bad RNG in 2 matches and you lose. You go to home, you know. But
Yeah.
if you have some opportunity for auto draft your opponent, always better, you know.
Yep.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Yeah, overall legend tournament. I think the biggest thing I noticed in the legend tournament was that it is very clear and very apparent that unless you're banning a ragdoll most of the time, you're always banning a water Ryu, right?
Yep.
Too much
I mean,
damage.
how many times was a unit that wasn't water Ryu that was a regular like an RGB unit get banned? 3 times maybe? I think we
Not
saw
sure.
Chung Pong ban
Yeah,
once.
one Zhongpeng ban.
And I honestly think that was it. I think that was the only
Yep.
non-water Ryu ban for RGB colors because almost every other ban was like they banned the Gianna or they banned the Nephthys or they banned the Ragdoll, and it really goes to show the level that Moore is at compared to like everyone else in the game.
Yep. For sure.
Because
I
it's
wish
too
they
much
did something
damage.
about him. Yeah.
You see how much damage the water heal gave to Ciara the pink ride with skill 1?
Yeah, yeah, that was a pretty significant hit. Yeah. So
When I
okay, let me ask you this then, guys. Do you think that the bigger strength issue for Moore is the way his kit works, or do you think it's the fact that he has this kit and then additional damage amplifies it like to a really high degree?
I would say it's the additional damage mainly because Chiwu has a very well. I guess Chiwu has off or because obviously the comparison that we make here often is Chiwu compared to the Moore, since they both have a 24 speed lead AoE strip. The strip chance is about the same. I think Chiwu is slightly higher at 85%, but I think the Moore is at 83% chance to strip just one buff. But usually you're only running into just the will turn one will. But then I guess the other differences is that Ryu or Moore doesn't get countered as hard by Revenge of Vertical, and then obviously has the additional damage, and then I guess the also absorbing the attack bar instead of just decreasing it. So it's just better than Chiwu in a lot of ways. But I think the biggest part of that, the biggest way that it's better than Chiwu, is the fact that it does have the triple hit and additional damage. Makes so much better.
Yeah, it's just getting a lot more turns, just a lot more cycling, a lot more damage overall. Yeah, the cutting opportunity wherever you want, wherever you get touched. It's pretty fucking insane, honestly. Pretty insane.
For me, the passive is the most skill more important in the Moore right now. The additional damage is fine, is good. The S1 is attack break is really good, but the passive is really OP because he can cycle and he never die, you know.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. It's like everything, right? It's everything as a culmination. Like obviously we
Mhm.
can all say like one thing we feel is stronger than other things. Like I think the passive is what's really strong. You know, Topa, you believe that the additional damage is really strong in comparison with everything else. And I don't disagree with any of those statements. I think that all of these things, together create this culmination of like a really, really, really strong unit. And
Yeah.
it's it shows. I mean, it showed in the Legend tournament. I think that undeniably we can all agree and say that Water Ryu is probably one of the best, probably the best regular element Nat 5 in the game right now for RTA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Or
just it's
I mean, at
just
least top 3. At least top 3. He's like
yeah.
really up there, especially
I would
after
say he is
Chung
the
Pong
best.
nerfs. I think it even puts
I
him
would
even
say
higher,
it's best.
right?
Yeah. It's
Like,
just the speed lead that you
changes.
don't have to draft another, like, he is the speed lead stripper, you know? You just need one more speed lead. It's very easy to draft with him. It's very easy. That's why it's so
to the
strong.
point of where like picking him first is very viable, like very
Yeah.
very viable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. Legend tournament's hard to talk about because like it's exciting and for a little bit, but then it's just like you're just sad. You're just sad for the people who got like boned really hard, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's an interesting topic. It's a little bit weird, but I just wanted your kind of like initial thoughts on it. I did like a really, really detailed breakdown of like all the matches and everything where I kind of thought people made different decisions. So if you guys have any time, I'd love to pick your brain on that, like off the podcast and stuff. Just because I always want to improve like my ability to cast and analyze the game, right? I know that I'll never be where you guys are. I'll never be G3, but I do want to be able to provide that sense of like explanation to the game when people are watching it, right? Because the way your brains work versus the way like the average player's brain work is very different, right? A lot of people can't think 3-4 turns ahead, right? They don't see this is coming, this is coming, this is the cooldown that could potentially come up, this is an option between these two things. Like not everyone has those interactions, but that's why it's great to have you guys on the podcast, pick your brains a little bit more about RTA. But that's the Legend tournament.
All right.
Heartbreak the winner. And our friends are sad.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
sad
see
for our friends.
next season. Pinkroyd.
Yeah, there's always next season. There's always more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, let's jump into topic 2. Since we've kind of been talking about this a little bit, let's talk about the balance patch. Let's talk about things that are changing, things that we like, things that we don't like. I kind of want to start this off actually with Topa. So if you want to jump in and just kind of go with what you want first, I'd love to hear what you think.
All right. Well, obviously, I think the big thing in this balance patch that everyone's talking about is the Okeanos and Chompang nerfs, as well as the more dodging the nerf. I feel like this time around, not a lot of people were calling for buffs for units. It was just like it was just so over, or like so dominantly, people were just talking about how they want stuff nerfed. And yeah, obviously we got the Okeanos and Chompang nerf, which are nice. I think they're actually really nice nerfs. Neither really kill the unit, I don't think. But then also we got a couple important buffs that I'm excited for, like the Joe gun, getting the additional turn you have to use the skill 2, and then speed buff on the skill 3. That can provide for some really nice combos to counter like Vertihiles or Leos, possibly, since those usually don't run on will. And then I'm also personally pretty excited for the Lexi, the Fire Assassin, as a possible counter to the Lulu meta that has been kind of rising in response to the dominance of Okeanos.
I feel that. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on
Yeah,
with this
there
balance patch.
definitely
Yeah.
is.
If you could pick one thing that you feel like was missed, like something that was huge that was missed that could have been like really quickly adjusted and it would have been fair, what do you think it would be?
Yeah, I think that has to be more. I think the very minor nerf to more would just be to increase his passive cooldown by 1. Because right now he has such a huge solo potential too. Since he's running on Swift, that means he pretty much, at the speed lead, he pretty much outspeeds every single unit in the game. So if you don't have a multi-hit, you hit him once, he goes, and then he laps you, so he goes again, his passive's up again. So if without a multi-hit or multiple units, or like as a bio proc, you literally cannot kill more in a 1v1 situation.
Or like a revenge or something too.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right, DK, what do you think? First opinions on the balance patch, and then something you think that was missed that could have been adjusted pretty easily.
Bro, I'm so excited for the buff the Veroms, bro. I
Yeah, I
think
want to see when it actually comes out because they like reverted the passive nerf, right? And
Yeah, they
they're or the
postponed
passive
it, I
buff
guess.
for now.
yeah, because the passive is back now, and the pushback bar with will on RTA. I don't know, but I can see into people draft more Veromos inside the Tetra, in high players fight on G3, because the pushback is really strong on RTA, and people bring Verdehail sometimes, and he has will sometimes, and you can still try pushback and change the sync the opponents and try go for the win, but you already has one more counter for Diana. But the nerf more, I agree with all steps Topa say, but I don't know. More is really strong unity into the game. It's like Ciara when's coming after the buff, but Ciara never change when people puts the bomb her detonation and he's really OP. I don't know if one day he goes change Water Hayu because he coming to really strong, and when people first see Water Hayu, people say the worst Ryu into the game, and people start to use it with artifacts on RTA. Oh, now it's crazy, you know. But I agree with one turn passive is the most important. We can nerf him.
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Pretty fair. Right,
Okay.
sir.
All right,
You ready? Moment of truth?
for me personally, the balance patch, yeah, this the same. I'm gonna talk about more after, but yeah, first Oki. I think the change is not like too big. You know, it's gonna decrease the damage, of course. But I was more thinking of nerfing Oki by nerfing the additional damage artifacts in some kind of a way, so we can tone down some other units as well with the Oki. But I don't mind the nerf. It's okay. It's not gonna be a huge change. I think he's still gonna be draft a lot, as well as Chongpeng. The change is cool, but we're still gonna see Chongpeng like all the time. Other like bigger buffs. I think also Water Art Master, Fire Art Master. Fire Art Master is gonna be good against Moore as well, because now you have to put more on. I feel like if you don't put him on Will, Jogan can, just remove more and then strip, and it's like you have no way to cut without more anymore, because he's gone. But also String Masters, they got some speed buffs, pretty decent. The fire one's used a lot now. I've seen her. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. It's like a new Drake or something.
Yeah, it's got a pretty cool mechanic. I've been watching some of
Yeah.
the replays. People
I
have been
tried
doing
to
some
build the light one actually, the light String Master, but I don't know. There's a lot of things wrong with that unit. She just
pain.
doesn't do anything. I
When I
pulled her a
found her, I
couple
was
days
so
ago and I 6-star her now, and she doesn't do absolutely anything. I don't know.
Every time someone brings up the light string master, all I can think about is why it's not a dark string master.
Yeah, exactly.
So much
Lucian's
better.
wife. Yeah, I want to address Beast Monks as well. I think we might see Fire Beast Monk and of course the Ritesh come back to the meta a bit, maybe with some Jean defenses again. Who knows? Uh, there were some small Druid changes. There was Light Beast Rider. I love that change as well. I think she's going to be
You have one,
way
right?
more viable. I have what?
Do you have a Narsha?
No.
Okay.
No, I have a Barbara. I pulled a Barbara recently, and I have a Savannah. But yeah, I'm a Beast Rider abuser.
Me
But
too.
yeah,
Me
we-
too.
we
I don't have
saw-
anything else. I
yeah.
just use
I don't have more in Chongpeng. It was pretty tough. Like Beast Riders are definitely not as impactful as those two are. They're pretty strong, but you can still feel if you don't have the more Chongpeng, it's tough. The
Additional
Liches
damage.
got buffed. Snipers got buffed. We might see some Fire Sniper and Siege. Some changes there. Some new defenses coming up. The Liches, the Water Lich, I'm not looking forward to at all. He gets attack bar for every single hit that's not a crit. Like if Antares misses crit 3 times on you, you get triple times attack bar. So it's pretty nuts, honestly. And
Gonna be sick. Gonna be sick. I'm gonna use that in Siege all the time. And offense.
yeah.
gonna be
Water
a
Lich
crazy
is
combination.
scary. And yeah, more. I would have like what I would do with more is completely remove the speed lead and keep everything the same, because I think that passive cut mechanic, all that, I think that is Moore's thing. I think that's his uniqueness. And I think Speedly just makes him way too easy to draft. It makes some comps very easy to make with that speed lead. So I just feel like the speed lead is a bit too much. It's like if you gave Josephine a speed lead randomly out of nowhere. I just feel like because the cut mechanic and all that, but yeah, that's why I think about the more in the balance patch. I just wish he was there as well.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
pretty fair.
the Josephine buff is
Fair.
pretty huge too.
I feel like they're really trying to counteract I guess the Okeanos CC meta a lot, but I guess a lot of these changes don't really impact them more. I feel like there's the Water Lich. If Okeanos had Rain of Stones 5 hits on the Water Lich, 100% attack bar and a turn, or then a
Return, yeah.
Josephine counterattacking the Okeanos, getting the turn, possibly provoking another unit and controlling. Oh, she can control 2 units. Fire Monkey also getting the 10% heal buff on the skill too. Yeah, I think all these changes are really they're trying to encourage turn 2 more, which is really nice. But then I don't know, units like more don't really get affected by any of this that much.
Yeah. I think so I agree with almost everyone's analysis here. I think it's actually pretty spot on. It's pretty spot on. I also really agree with the same. And you guys brought up, you think that the Okeanos and the Chongpong changes are fair. I think that's an extremely good way to put it. Actually, they're fair because they allow the unit to still be used, but they address the biggest issue with the unit is how strong it is on turn 1. Right. When it comes to looking at like Chongpong, like the biggest strength of Chongpong was like if you hit a defense break, anyone can follow up and just murder a whole team, like no effort, right? You follow up with a Savannah, you follow up with like Amasha, you follow up with Oki, like everyone is just going to die or be at like 30% health, right? But now moving like the order of operations with that strip and defense break actually fits really well. It fits really well, and I think that is a good approach to balancing in the game, and I'm very happy to see that they're making an approach like that instead of just kind of doing what they did with Kaki, where they're just like, all right, this unit's too busted, we just remove everything about it, right?
All
Right.
right.
I think that having that is there. I think Chongpong will still be really quite strong though, because the skill 3 is 75% attack bar. Part of me wants to say we should drop it to 60 because you can still double hit and reset somebody, but I also think that might be a little bit too much, right? I mean, 225% attack bar reduction potential is really strong, especially over 3 separate hits. But at the same time that I think dropping it to 60 would be tough because there's a lot of situations where you get to move with the Chongpong, and if they're over 60% attack bar, you're very unlikely to be able to reset them, right? Because then the reset also takes into account an accuracy resist check. So there are a lot of like other aspects to it. But again, it's hard because like additional damage makes Chongpong even stronger with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a change I would like to see to Changpeng as well. Obviously, the changing the skill 2 with the defense break going before the strip is pretty nice, like Tyler was saying. But then I would rather them see buff the skill 2 and make the strip more consistent, but nerf the skill 3 and make it like a 50% attack bar per hit or something. Since right now, obviously, the Changpeng, I guess the argument that a lot of people have with Changpeng is that he's not consistent. And I guess it's somewhat of a fair argument when the skill 2 is only a 75% chance to strip. So there's a lot of times you're getting like only one or even like no units stripped with the skill 2. So I would like to see that making them skill 2 a lot more consistent, but then hard nerfing the skill 3.
That's another way they could definitely approach it. I think it's hard. It's hard because like it really depends on like what they want. Like what we want is cool. Like we want things that are fair, and then we kind of just see what they want with what's fair for them, right?
Right.
Yeah. Overall, I am pretty happy with changes. I think that it doesn't change the meta too much because you're not like hard nerfing the top meta right now. But what you're doing is you're adjusting it so that it's a little bit more manageable, and then you're also implementing new units that are good against those kinds of mechanics, which I think is sick, right?
Right.
I think
Yeah, I
it's
think that's
super
definitely the
sick.
best way to go about balancing.
Yeah, I agree. The balance patch when I see the first balance patch really bigger, change a lot of things. I feel the next season I played is like the same players played, not much players like the last season, you know. And they try to short balance pets because maybe scared to lose players sometimes. But the balance pets, I agree without buffs and nerfs. Chongpong is strength and defense break, same skill, and procs, of course, because has violence into the game, and you you hit it with defense break is really strong because the artifacts damage give a lot of damage on S3 and a lot of follow-ups. Any units can kill any units with defense breaks.
I wish Heigang had the defense break,
Oh god, that would be scary.
but with the same condition as Chongpeng. First defense break and then strip.
Yeah, potential.
But
potential
Hagen gets 25% more activation just because he doesn't do anything else. I mean, the attack bar gain is good. He's gonna like, you can see him being drafted for sure against Gianna's and similar stuff, but I don't think he's still gonna. I don't think the 5%. I think they added like 5% more.
attack bar, yeah.
Yep.
5%
Yeah,
attack bar.
I don't think it's gonna change stuff too much, but
I know this sounds crazy, but I kind of wish Hagang had scroll trap now that they added a gains additional turn. I think like cleansing your team and then getting attack bar and scroll trapping a unit would be pretty sick. And then like you scroll trap a unit and then you get the extra turn, so you skill one attack bar reduce somebody, and then it's like, okay, now you've changed turn order.
Mm.
I'd just be interested in seeing how it works because I think it'd be good against I could be good against Water Ryu too, right? Because the Water Ryu goes into strip you, you get attack bar, you just instantly scroll trap him and just leave him there.
yeah, I guess. But
You
it
know,
would just be
I
scroll
feel like
trap.
the whole skill 2 mechanic itself, just like with the strip into glancing, is like it's cool, but it doesn't really have that much impact.
Glancing is just it's such a bad stat, honestly. Like, it's such a bad debuff.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good
compared
debuff.
to
I
a
just
lot of
think it adds
stuff,
a lot
it's
to
just
his kit, right? Because and okay, sorry, I'll let you continue first, and then I'll explain why I think that glancing is really good.
I mean, when you compare it to other stuff, it's like, I don't know. I wish I had, if he just had a defense break, maybe instead of a glancing, it would be kind of cool. But I don't know. Glancing is, I don't know. I just don't
Is
like
it
it.
because glancing isn't like a set, like a guaranteed stat, right? Like where you like attack break something guaranteed
Yeah,
50%
pretty much.
reduction.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
even attack break would be much better.
Okay. I guess the reason why I think that like glancing is really good is mainly just because if you glance elemental units, they 100% glance against elemental disadvantage, right? So
Yeah.
like if you glance a Verd, it will never crit a water unit no matter what. Or if you glance a Juno, she'll never ever crit a water unit, which means she can't just spare stun either. So stuff like that is kind of cool. I think a really good change to glancing debuff that could be added to the game would be we always talk about like ways to adjust additional damage or ways to nerf additional damage. I think glancing should affect additional damage. I think if you glance, your additional damage should be proportionally
sure.
reduced by the amount that you glance by, right? So if you glance on a regular, if you just hit a regular glance, I think it's minus 30% damage or something. And if you glance on elemental disadvantage, it's minus 47%. So I think like reducing the amount of additional damage that's applied as well on a glancing hit would be great. It would buff it would make glancing hit debuff stronger, and it would also like slightly balance out additional damage, right? Because one of the strongest additional damage mechanics is the fact that you can kill things that are the wrong element.
Yeah.
Pretty like Juno can rip apart water units sometimes.
Yeah, it's pure damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty.
Yeah, I actually really would like that change because I feel like the biggest issue in the game right now is actually additional damage artifacts, but you can't really go to nerf those because everyone's already farmed those. So then how do you like adjust them to make them lower or something like that? Like even they obviously buffed the other artifact substats recently, but then like, still additional damage is just like by far the best substat there is, and you can't really like just go and just really just go and nerf the amount of additional damage you roll into artifacts since people already have all of those.
I mean, let's talk about it. Like, not everyone understands or knows how additional damage mechanics work. So, additional damage mechanics basically are fixed damage. They're exactly the same every single time based on your stats. They are true damage, so they ignore defense, and they apply on every single hit of a multi-hit. So if I have a Juno with 250% additional damage, and I am 300 speed, I am hitting for like, what is that, 700 or 825, something like that, extra damage every single hit. And so it doesn't matter if you, it doesn't matter if you have defense buff. It doesn't matter if I glance. I still hit that guaranteed 800 every single time, plus whatever damage I would normally do. Right. I think that like that kind of mechanic is just really, really, really strong because
and on top
it
of that,
basically says defense buff doesn't matter. It says that
yeah,
having all these like mechanics to mitigate damage don't matter in that case. Like attack break doesn't
nothing.
matter, right?
And there's more like additional damage stats. There's by HP, by attack, by defense. You know, you can stack other ones as well. I had some people like in my chat suggest that it should only work on first hit and stuff like that if you want to nerf it. I don't know how much that would impact. Like it would be a big nerf, but
But then we still have really strong units like Sierra Gianna, right? Sierra Gianna Juno would still be really strong,
yeah, for sure.
right? That it wouldn't have changed. It would actually just buff them because everyone else would get weaker and they would get stronger, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about that right now too. It's like, how much would that help if you only make the additional damage work in the first hit? I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty big nerf to a lot of units, but then yeah, units that are turn cycling a lot are still gonna like be really strong
Yeah.
on that. So
For me, artifacts come really strong, but he take more units for RTA meta. Like Wind Monkey is really strong. Uh, Fire Monkey last season was really strong because you can put more recovery, maybe accuracy, defense breaks for helping him, and he got the buff for heal more, and he has artifacts for support units good too. Additional damage. They're really good in the meta, but we have the another instance, and I think this second season we start with artifacts, and they going update maybe uh, change in the future. But for me right now, it's really good because you can play with another unit, use another build. Like you can use the one nuke without crit damage rune, attack rune slot 4, HP slot 6, and it give more damage because the artifacts. And he give more the opportunity for people build your units and play RTA.
Mm-hmm.
It's my opinion.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's a hard topic overall, I think.
something I kind of want to talk about too is the crit rate fix. I don't know if you guys was that out in the last podcast? I'm not sure, but I
It
don't know
was.
if
It
you
was. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to upload it this week. I've had a lot of issues with uploading. My internet dies like
guys. Oh, okay.
every couple hours, so I upload it and then it dies and I have to like start again. But yeah, so we did talk
Okay,
about it
okay.
last week. You're welcome to bring it up again. I think it's something that's worth talking about. We'll probably be talking about crit bug, crit fix, crit nerf, whatever for a while now, right? So you're welcome to bring it up. Just kind of
Yeah,
lead in the
so
topic.
yeah, I guess I kind of wanted to bring that the crit rate fix up since obviously in current meta the additional damage, we talk about that a lot and how multites are really strong, and then with them fixing the crit rate, which a lot of people are calling a nerf now, since literally the game has been or the crit rate has been bugged longer than it has been working in the history of the game right now. So that's why a lot of people are calling it nerf in the first place, but it's actually just a fix, and this actually like really hurts single target units even more. So I don't know, like I guess it's a really controversial topic, but I hear a lot of people, they would rather have the crit bug in the game than crit actually being fixed in the game, since right now a lot of single hit units, single target damage dealers, additional damage doesn't do a whole lot on those. Say your Leica hits like 20,000 of justice, you put additional damage on that, you get like 200 more damage or like 500 more damage. Percentage wise, that's a really, really small increase. And then now that you're going to be critting even less with that Leica, your Leica just like fell out of the meta like even more. And just
Mhm.
Dragon Knights, Archangels, Monkeys, well, literally every single hit unit just became a lot weaker with the crit rate fix. So I don't know how. Obviously, it feels really weird to like, oh yeah, let's make crit rate bug an actual thing in the game, and crit rate, being checked twice on the first hit of each skill, like that doesn't really feel like the correct fix to this. But then, like, what is the actual fix to like bringing back these single hit units into the meta?
Yeah, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. I guess there's a couple things you brought up that could be addressed separately. So the first one is like, should base crit be adjusted? Is probably one of the topics that we're kind of talking about here. And then another one is, okay, so the logic behind that is single target units got weaker, whereas additional damage units are still like just as strong, if not stronger, because of this, right? Like in the scheme of things, if single target goes down, multi-hit goes up, right?
Right.
So that's probably the second part. And then the third part is like, do we think that they should adjust by buffing single target units in a way? Should it be an artifact buff or change, or should it be, a nerf or reduction to these additional damage mechanics, right? You're kind of saying like, here's the issue. Do we want to change it from a base level? Do we want to change it from a mechanics level? And then like, how do we continue to keep these units relevant to the meta? So I guess GodAcog, I'd like to hear your opinion on it first if you want to go through it.
I don't know.
Kind
I've
of
seen a lot of people complaining, and I've been kind of sad when I miss those crits as well sometimes with a very high chance to actually crit. I'm really not sure if it's really fixed. If it's not, I did some accuracy resistance testing recently, because we talk about that a lot too on stream, and it came to an average after like I did like 200 tries, 200 tests, and it like came to 85% at the end of the day. But I want to test crit rate as well, because I'm really not sure anymore. I'd rather try to test stuff on my own first before trusting anything. I don't know, it just feels wonky. Crit just feels wonky right now. Not sure what to think about it. And a lot of people just not saying they're not critting with 90 something crit rate. Of course, it is going to happen. You're going to miss eventually with a 90 something, but I don't know. I just want to test it on my own. Probably going to do it soon. Yeah. That's what I think. I don't have much to say. I think it should be fixed, but right now, it like single target units, target damagers need more stats. You have to sacrifice other stats for that crit rate. I feel like if you don't have over 90 crit rate, you will miss crits. You need like 90 plus. It's kind of tough. It's definitely affecting the single target damagers. And example, if you need to crit with a unit like Barbara, let's say, which she really needs to crit. If she doesn't crit, the boost is just so bad. But you also need insane speed, so you can't really balance out to get her to 90 crit rate and plus 210 speed or something. Like, it's really hard. For some units, it's just hitting them really, really hard. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely forced to pick and choose stats, right? To pick
Yeah.
and choose like HP and defense if you want to use any of that anymore and stuff like that. You really have to min max your units a lot more than we used to in the past. Yeah, I feel that. Daniel, what do you think?
About crit hate, I think the single target units, you need to sacrifice your stats for put more crit hate, because if you miss crit, sometimes you lose the game, because single target team, you're working on only one unit. You have your setup like strip, defense break, and the one high damage coming like wind monkey, Leo, Jaeger, Ragdoll. If you miss crit, probably you lose the damage, because you you have another like the worst words. You need to fix that, because if you don't fix, you miss crits, you lost the match. But if you have high crit hate, you're scared to Miho sometimes, And the people, now I can kill Miho because I can miss a lot of crits, but sometimes you get your RNG, like my Juno has 97 create for single builds I use on RTA, and I hit Miho 3 times and I miss crit 3 times. So I say, what? I think I got a solo, but
I don't think. Yeah.
I see that, and the first day I say I need to fix my Juno because he missed 3 crits in a row, and 97? It's okay, but I'm scared about the Yohong. I don't use too much crit hate on her, and she needs crit for strip and buff. But I working hard on farm right now for fix my Yohong and my another units with more crit hate, and I use try sacrifice more, maybe attack or defense, something like that, because HP you also need, because artifacts is like really insane, and you don't need high defense right now and your units, because artifacts it's the most damage units, and the Oki, Shongpong, Water Hayu, only damage, pure damage. If you have 1k defense, doesn't matter. Artifact's gonna be easy kill you.
I feel like people are avoiding to pick Miko right now.
Yeah.
I still pick
But
Miho.
I don't think I've picked Miho once since the crit rate got
I like
fixed.
picking Miho. Not because I want the crit, but because I know that people are scared of her. So you can kind of just like get away with using her sometimes. If you
because
tune her to your team, you can really set up like fast kills. But it's frustrating because I run my Miho on like 74 crit, and I'm like, she just missed 7 crits in a row, guys. Like, this is pain.
Yeah, like it is easier to sacrifice. I feel like it's easier a bit to sacrifice those stats on bruiserish units to get that crit rate. But if you have like a super fast unit that needs that crit rate, like there's nowhere to take those stats from. There's nothing to sacrifice. I already like, if I have to, I already grind crit rate. I already gem crit rate over stats like defense and HP because I'm an offensive player. So I try to have as much crit rate as possible. But now, like, I don't even have it. Like, I don't have anywhere to gem anymore. It's
probably
really hard.
with this new meta coming, I think the create rune now is more value, because if you're running like the same situation, you're running Barbara really fast and you wanna crit, I don't care if Barbara's on crit damage or not. But if you wanna really fast, put create slot 4 and attack slot 6, get your 100 create and a lot of artifacts damage, you can put a lot of bar in your team. I think crit damage is not the most important rune right now, slot 4, because we farm like, if I play like only 3 years, but I'm farming only for crit damage slot 4, beautiful rune for my Yohong, for my units. But now attack slots 4 is really valuable because it has Kaki, Kinky, stuff like that, and the create, because this fix create stuff. I think it's good now too.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty interesting point there. That crit red rooms are becoming more valuable, and other slot 4s aside from the crit damage, or I guess HP on supports, that's become more valuable. A lot of I see a lot of people in chat are suggesting like grindable crit rate. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm scared.
I actually want to go into something before that. I have a very unpopular opinion here, and I'm
Okay.
ready because you brought it up, and I think that this is a very good time for me to bring this up. My unpopular opinion is I think that crit rate should remain exactly as it is right now, and the reason is because this is a pseudo change to the speed meta. It forces people to choose between speed and consistency on a lot of really strong, like high tier units. However, that doesn't mean that additional damage isn't overpowered. I think that additional damage is the reason why this is hard to use right now, because additional damage units are so incredibly effective. I think that if additional damage units or additional damage as a mechanic gets adjusted, I think that this specific change forces people to choose between consistency and speed.
I agree.
And like even like choosing the consistency between 5 speed is a significant difference, especially when you're over 305 speed. The second you cross like 300 speed, choosing 2 speed versus like 6 crit rate is a very significant factor. And I think that is actually good for the game. I think it's good for the health of the game because it adds an upper limit to how strong certain units can be. Like Barbara, for example, it really limits how strong you can make a Barbara because you have to choose, right? You have to choose to either go faster and give up your crit rate. You have to choose to either go faster and give up your crit damage, or you have to choose to be slightly slower, possibly change to a will focus build, and set up in a way that you have consistency and ease of mind. I think it allows for more people to build and play the game the way that they want to instead of the way that the game is forcing you to play.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
completely agree. I think it just all comes down to the fact that additional damages.
Like a lot of units don't need the crit rate; they just get away with the crit with the additional damage. Like Water Rayu, that's like the first example you're gonna see. You can just stack a lot of additional damage. He doesn't need to crit to land his stuff, and he just does his job perfectly.
And I think that's like a big issue right now in the game. So I think
Mhm.
that like the crit changes and the tackling of that is like a good step 1, and then we kind of just need to see what the step 2 or step 3 is going to be, right?
Yep.
Like I'm not looking at this from a very close-minded immediate perspective. I'm looking at this from like in the next 3 balance patches, will the game be in a place where it's like incredibly good, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
not trying to say like right now the game is perfect because I think it's very clear that it's not perfect, and I think that right now there's a lot of growing pains for a lot of people because of the way the entire game has changed, right? Everything has changed. So many things have changed. In the last
Yeah.
year, we've had artifacts added to the game. In the last year, we've had artifacts changed, including substat changes, both removal, addition, as well as stat numbers on them changed. We have had B12s, the introduction of only 6-star runes dropping. We have had a whole different type of like unit
out of farm.
style and build brought into the game. We've had Art Masters, we've had Beast Riders, we've had all of the Street Fighter units. There's a lot of growing pains because things change really fast in the game right now. And I think that this change to crit rate is probably going to be the biggest growing pain for most players. But I also think that at the end of it, as long as they do manage to figure out a way to balance out artifacts more and punish the like top end, you don't need any stats but additional damage. I really think that this game can be built in a way that's very, very strategic. And I think it will benefit the players who are really smart.
Yep.
Not sure.
It's very, very well said.
Possibly. Yeah, could be. Who knows
Because like
what's gonna
right now it
happen?
feels really meta focused, right? It's very unit heavy, like super unit heavy, right? But in a perfect world, obviously we'll never you can't get to a perfect world, but the closer we get to that, I think the more that we can find a way that players who are incredibly intelligent and can work with what they have will succeed better. So like players like you, for example, GodAcog, who do not have as many units, I think would be able to succeed a lot stronger than other people. And that's the kind of game that I want to see, right? I mean, obviously it's a gacha game with money involved, so it clearly is pay to win, and that will never change. But I want it to be closer to that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to look at the game from a pessimistic perspective and say nothing will ever get better. If I really felt like nothing would ever get better, I wouldn't be playing this game. I wouldn't be here on this podcast with you guys. I wouldn't be talking to the community. I wouldn't be in a situation where I actually gave any shit about it. But I'm
Yeah.
here because I believe in that, and I believe in a good future for the game, for the community, and for all of us as players.
Yeah.
So that is my unpopular opinion for the day.
I mean, it's a good opinion. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really unpopular. I think it's
I think
really,
the whole
really
like I
well
think that
said.
it's fine is the unpopular portion of that opinion.
True. Yeah, I guess.
Thank you for
I
bringing
could
that up.
definitely.
I think that was I
Yeah.
think that was a really good topic to bring up again, and I think that's something that we can continue to bring up on future podcasts with other guests because everyone has a different view on it. Everyone has a different take on it, and hearing your guys today really opened my mind to like a couple other ways of looking at it. Especially we should consider running more crit rate runes instead. I was like, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta re-up that quad speed.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of my best friends are career runes, so it's like it's kind of helpful to me.
Yes, especially with artifacts and getting that. There's a lot of crit damage you can gain from artifacts too, so that also encourages, I guess, running crit rate even more now. So you have the skill specific crit damages, you have the single target crit damages, you have the crit damage when HP is good and bad. So you can literally get 4 lines of crit damage on almost both artifacts, and that's pretty helpful too.
It's pretty wild.
Mm.
It's pretty wild. A lot of things have changed.
A lot of things changed. This phrase is really good because if you back like two years, Tyler, we have like meta getting Hato Sierra, only like that, you know. And now this game puts artifacts, auto farm, B12, stuff like that, and oh my god, has a lot of units in the meta, the RTA people. Speaking about the 2 seasons ago, Sekimetsu is really strong because Tyrannus is really strong in the RTA, but this season, you know, you don't see a lot of Sekimetsu and the skill set don't change nothing, you know. And I think this game, I trust your opinion. I trust your opinion because we use you say start me motivate start to play RTA when I come in your stream. I don't know if all people know that, but when I find it on stream, I try understand how to play because he's G1, I'm C1, and oh my god, I need to learn. This guy is really best, and
And now
I
you're
try.
T3, and I'm
No,
T1.
oh, it's okay. It's normal day. You don't spend a lot of time in RTA, but you have really smart mind for keep your opponents in bad situation. Use Miho, I know, but it's one unit you have. You can use it, and it's really OP. Stun at S1. It's really nice, and I think most people know your travel a lot because you have your travel on favorites for single target unit travel. It's like OP, you know, and the
Yeah,
people speak, oh, the travel is really nuts. But
I
I
learned
think the
stuff from this guy over here. I saw him use India, and I was like, dude, I can do this with Trevor.
yeah, but the Branja now is really scary because he getting bar and the US2, S3, S2 again, and he has defense breaks really OP. But the game is running working really well because a lot of people can play RTA. I know they coming towards working for people coming to RTA. The season for Siege or Guild War don't change too much. I think they start working on season the Siege maybe better reward something like that or doing into the servers, but I don't know. I think they pushing for RTA because has a SWC tournament and has a lot of viewers, stuff like that. I like the company go the walking two way because the competition RTA is really nice sometimes, but you can feel bad if you have bad day RNG if you play like accuracy check every match.
Yeah. Damn, we like really got into it. Like, it's already been an hour. Like we're just going. There's just like a lot to talk about. I think it's really
Yeah,
really
there is.
cool. Yeah, I know. I'm not cutting it short, but I would love to have all of you on the podcast again at any time. Just like let me know when you guys are free because it's enjoyable. It's really nice to talk about this kind of stuff. And I really like your guys' opinions on it. Not to diminish anyone else who's been on the podcast as well, but you know, we've been talking to other people, you know, 2-3 weeks at a time. So it's nice to kind of just change things up a little bit here and there. Do you guys want to bring up anything else with buffs and nerfs before we kind of like open to the community discussion? I don't really want to push the podcast too far past an hour and a half. I think like the hour and a half limit line is usually pretty good. But if there's anything else you guys want to bring up, bring it up now. Let me know. You can kind of just start it, and then we'll open things up to chat.
For balance pets, I think I speak there out everything I want.
Yeah, balance. We had like the other part of the update. There was like some guild things, senior member.
I think it's just the chat icons, isn't it, in Guild?
Yeah, you could add
Yep.
to like guild members to end guild wars and stuff. Other like guildies could like tag towers and stuff in Siege as well. With the senior guild member tag, which is like you could put as many as you want of these, I think.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
not
It's
sure.
nice to add things
It's
like
nice,
that.
yeah.
To the game.
It's quality of life, like what they added. They added Ken, the other version that you can buy it.
Oh, it's so cool looking.
Yeah,
If
it
only we
is.
could,
It is.
if only we could transfer the skills from our current Ken to that one.
Part of me wants to get it, but like I know that I got the 5 skills from the event, so I'm like I don't think I'll ever actually do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would have to pay 500 ancient coins. I'm not doing that for sure. But I kind of like Ken though. Ken's my favorite character from Street Fighter, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm glad they added it to the game though. I think that was a good idea.
It is
Giving
good.
people that option is really smart.
Yeah, of course, the ones that missed it as well, they can get it now.
Mhm.
Also, the change to the legendary magic box is also pretty good. Not needing as many materials, not needing the condensed and the PMCs, or needing less, I think is good.
Yeah, they completely removed pure magic crystals from the legendary box.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
I guess the one thing I forgot that I wanted to bring up is, I mean, I just recently joined Sun Resort and Chill, so like I've been doing G3 Siege, and I really appreciate that they are like I've only been doing it for a couple weeks, but I really appreciate that this balance patch addresses like changes to Guild Wars and allows units to be different and try new things in Guild Wars and Siege, and I think that's really cool. It's nice to see a balance patch that isn't just RTA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Beast Monkey coming really strong. The snipers coming really strong.
Definitely
now
want to
you-
see some more to see changes. Yeah. Yeah.
N-
The sniper is
now-
pretty good.
Now you can use Verad a lot with Ritesh. Maybe try Cleavy, some defense, because now you have defense break with defense buff.
Yeah.
The new Galo, we have like defense break attack buff, but we never have the defense break and defense buff.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty good. Pritesh is nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Topa, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up before we open to chat?
I think we
Anything else
touched
on your
everything
mind?
that I wanted to talk about here. So
Yeah, that crit buff, the crit change topic was good. I appreciate that. All right, chat, hit us with it. If you wanna ask us a question, you can kind of just type in chat. If you want to ask somebody specifically, make sure to tag them. You know, we'll all type in chat so you guys can see our names here and it shows up. But yeah, so if you wanna, ask anyone specific, just tag. Simple as that. Buff Arnold. No.
He just played with Arnold. That's why he's saying it.
Yeah, I know. Let me just nerf Praha instead. How about that?
Maybe Fire Bison needs nerf.
You're the he's actually so good, to be honest.
Yeah,
Bison is actually really good. People are still like confused. They're like, wait, that thing's good. You're like, yeah, it's pretty strong.
you have self-sustain, slow, provokes. It's really OP, bro.
Well, you turn rotate
Yeah,
too,
with
'cause it
revenge.
gives you attack bar as well.
Yeah. Imagine if you have a Nyx. Provoke 2 turns.
If your name is Farast.
No.
What about you, Nix? The most OP combo, I would say, for strippers.
Yeah.
CC
Actually, I
comp.
think that's a good question to bring up. So Melville says, like, what do you think about the useless LD Nat 5s? I only have Grogan and Kraka. I was a bit surprised they didn't buff any of the like any of this. Usually they buff like 2 or 3 LD Nat 5s per patch, so they can like try to be useful. I was surprised they didn't bother touching it this time. Part of me thinks that maybe they were too busy, kind of trying to like balance the game in a fair way first. But I am hopeful that those things kind of change.
yeah, what LDFs did they buff? They buffed the Dark Art Master. We actually didn't talk about that, but I think that buff is actually really legit, making him a almost 117 base speed immunity buffer and a buff remover. I think that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Was there any other F5 buffs? Oh,
Not
Shazam,
like
right?
directly to the unit's like main skill. I mean, Eleanor got the skill 2 change, right?
Oh, right,
Just
yeah.
like Kenya did, but that's not like her main mechanic that got changed, right?
Mhm.
In my particular opinion, I think they not change a lot of things because Kaki coming to the game and they coming with really big damage and they need to fix that. And this season don't have the 3 buffs already. We have like 2 months with 2 months and 10 days this last season. It's really short, and he needed like he put one more unit into the game, like the Onimushas and the They
Sorry, go ahead. I forgot that Narca got buffed.
and they don't has a lot of time for working the better balance pets, in my opinion. Because this may be untouched light dark units. Maybe next is better for light dark units, worse. Like Nigongi, something like that.
True, Narsha did get buffed. All right, maybe LD Nafis did get buffed this patch. I just
Yeah,
I just kind of overlooked it.
And
Also,
Narsha's
yeah.
gonna be pretty nice. Permanent speed buff and a defense break. It's pretty good.
It's the one
Uh,
come to life, basically.
Nasha don't has defense break.
She does now.
No.
She
She
does
does
now.
now. They added to her passive. Yeah,
But do
Narsha
we
has
know how that works
every
actually?
attack, right?
With the double hit on the skill 2, does it defense break already after the first hit? Because if it does, I think Narsha is.
Yeah, I
one
think
thing
it,
was
I'm pretty sure it
does,
does.
Yeah.
That would
Pretty
make
good.
sense.
The
Or it
worst
can
we
be a
tried
setup as
now
well.
is the darken.
Yeah. Dark is the worst now.
Because you have disadvantage elemental all the times, and the skill sets not really work right now.
It does a lot of damage though. That unit actually does a lot of
does.
damage if you
It
hit it.
does,
But
but
They all
high
do.
damage
Let's be
units do
real.
not
It's
really
Beast
matter right
Riders.
now.
Beast Riders can one-shot anything, like any of them. What a good setup.
Mm-hmm.
Some are their own setup. Like Masha can one-shot a unit. Barber can one-shot a unit. Pretty good. Do you think giving
No
Lights
worse
Kogel
the other
to turn
thing.
Oblivion instead of the stun would... I don't know about Lights Kogel. They have a lot of 4-stars that they need to like go through to buff. I feel like a lot of 4-stars are just unusable. But they're going through them. Like we see the assassins here, the liches, the snipers, string masters. They just pick a couple families and just change them in a balance patch. I just wish we had more balance patches more frequently.
yes, we talk about this community Portuguese, about the times, the balance pets, but I think in the past we have like balance pet like for 6 or 5 months. Now we have on the finished season we have one good balance pet, but in the past it's not really well. They change a lot of things. My first balance pet I saw is the Ganymede Never, like a bigger balance pets, and they changed the meta a lot. But the most thing important, he removed the skill 1 strip, the Fire Kings. And this
Yeah.
will cry a lot because the Fairy King is really OP. And the Ganymede take like 3 nerfs in a row, and is still good unit for picky on RTA. Like the last season, Geni Oki, Geni Shongpong, Geni Water Hayug, Geni Savannah, and still strong.
Yeah, again, he's still one of the best units for sure.
Geni is
Ganny
like
never changes.
Kenny never changes.
But Ganny's good, always has been.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Well, ever since he got buffed.
Yeah,
They-
they buffed him, and he's just always been good.
the
Always
the
been good.
most thing important on Geni is like you have one skill, you don't get RNG. It's like people use Tiana. I never miss my strip. And he's really good, but he's win.
Yeah, he'll always be pretty strong. Oh man, somebody brought up something in chat. I can't remember what unit it was specifically.
The Grego?
Greg, I don't know how I feel about Grego yet. I think I have to try it out to see. I think it has potential. I think it really does have potential.
Yeah, I got the solo today by Grego.
I have all of them built, and they're all fully skilled, so I can definitely try it out.
Yeah, I think it's a good buff. Like the random hits all around. Yeah, it's not consistent. Like now you can actually one-shot stuff.
It makes you frustrated.
Warledge,
You're like, why did I only hit twice? And you're like, I could have hit 3 times. Like whenever you use your anti skill 1, you're like, why is it not 3 hits?
But
but
now the skill single targets, you don't try defense break.
yeah, but that's for the second skill. Yeah, I was talking about the second skill, the one that defense breaks. You can one-shot something. It's just 3 hits now. It used to be 3 to 4, but random enemies, and now just 1 target, 3 hits. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I remember
actually.
what it was. Lexi. Lexi is sick.
Topa
I think
mentioned
Lexi
her.
is sick.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Chainster passive is pretty fun.
I haven't tested it. I saw some YouTubers test the Lexi and the damage. I saw it doing like over 100,000 damage on like a full YOLO build on the ignore defense. But yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I was pretty excited for Lexi. So I think it's going to be a rather nice counter to the Lulu meta. Maybe the Molly's, units that heal every turn, because the Lexi passive actually gets multiple stacks for multiple heals. So if there's an AO heal in the team, like a Lulu skill 3, you get 4 stacks on the passive. And yeah, against like a Lulu, you can get an ignore defense like pretty frequently, and then just snipe units like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty spicy. I think it'll be fun. Do you know if you revenge after your ignore defense mechanic, does it reset it?
I would assume so. I haven't tested that, but I think so.
Okay. I was thinking because like with Carcano it doesn't. So like if you revenge in stance form, you deal 200% damage, which is kind of cool.
I guess you would probably want to build Lexi on like a bruiser violent build or something.
Yeah, I'm on Violent Nem right now.
Probably gonna have her, yeah, on a bit like that. Because if she did like 100k on a YOLO build, pretty sure you could do like very good damage. You won't need more than 30k
30
probably.
30 plus.
Yeah. To one shot anything should be cool. I think she's gonna be interesting.
People speaking about Lulu, but I think Lulu coming to really strong in RTA because the base stats. Because before Lulu, we have Fran, and the Fran has like 400 base defense, and the Lulu has the same stats, but we have 700 base defense, and it's more easy to build on
Yeah.
100 resistances, and you has heal one on S1 before Fran's nerf. You have stun on S1, and the attack rate is good, of course, but the heal is sometimes really important because you try get not solo by Juno sometimes, and you don't have the buff on skill 1, and you can heal your units. And I think this meta comes to Lulu more because the base stats for me, my opinion.
Yeah, Lulu's good. Lulu's great. She feels like Rika with that resistance always happening. Just feels like a Rika to me when I need to land something on a Lulu. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of healing. Like with skill 2, she can just top off a unit completely. Pretty crazy.
In my opinion, when I need to land the skill on Lulu, I just ban because I'm scared. I have this option.
Yeah, if you can ban it, for sure.
Sometimes has Ragdoll, Lulu, Akrama, and I need to ban Lulu. Lulu is really scary. If you're running like CC comp, Lulu is really OP.
Yeah, Lulu can be really frustrating to deal with, but at the end of the day, it's a free to play option that everyone can have. So I think it's healthy for the game. I don't think it's over the top, like broken. So that it needs to be addressed, and the fact that everyone can have it as a somewhat of a counter to the current meta, I think it's nice. As much as I hate the unit.
Agree. I don't know how you would nerf a Lulu. She doesn't really need a nerf.
You just take a small amount of healing away. That's all it is.
maybe. Yeah,
It's like it's like 5%
only
base on
thing.
skill 3, for example, is
Yeah.
still more than enough.
Yeah.
Right? Because you just healing is strong, and then you just amplify healing even more. Like
Yeah.
you have
Push
an
more
aerial skill
against
3,
as
for
well.
example, and you just like add 20% recovery. Suddenly you're healing for
Yeah.
like 75%.
Yeah.
Healing for so much, right? It's too
I
much
think
shit.
the skill tool, the Lulu is the best, the 1, 2, or 3,
Yeah,
because
I think the skill 2 is
sometimes
as well.
you can cleanse and put 1 immunity and you save 1 unit, like Ciara can proc without stun and control. Imagine your Hato and you have the S3, or Oki proc without skill with stun, and you save your Ciara for land the bomb. You have the bomb and the detonation. I think the S2 Lulu is really OP with immunity on turn.
Skill 2's, I mean, it's a 2-turn cooldowns. Like, it's really good. It's really, really good. It's better than
Imagine,
Fast for sure.
imagine Arta and the Ario has the same skill. STO immunity to,
Yeah.
you know.
One's immunity heal. Yeah, that would be toxic.
Nah,
Yeah.
for these 2 units, I think not, because they only do it. Arta is revenge, and the Ario only did its heal. It's okay if you change the second skill, the Archangels. It's not bad option.
I don't know. I kind of wouldn't want to see that skill in Arda.
I think it's fine that people get skins. I mean, Mega's asking about lower rank players getting skins that we worked hard for seasons ago. I don't see any problem with that at all, to be honest. Like even if they implemented a rate to get it faster, it would still be really hard to get. Like three RTA skins is not easy to get, right? I don't think issues
I
like
don't think
I don't
a
have
lot
any
of
issues
people
with people
Yeah.
getting cosmetics in the game.
Yeah, same.
You know, it's a
It's good.
cosmetic for a reason. Yeah, we earned it, but we earned it at that time. Now that it's
Yeah.
a year or two down the road, it's like, why shouldn't other people have the opportunity to get it? Maybe
Just
give
feel a
something
lot
like
of
super
people that
exclusive to people who play in the
yeah.
Legend tournament or something. But like other than that, I don't see too much of an issue with it.
Yeah, a lot of people play because of cosmetics. It is true. There's a lot of people that do. So yeah, I don't see anything bad with it.
And a lot of people wanna get your skin without stress the season RTA, because you can farm around special league.
Yeah.
Imagine it puts like Dragon Knight skins, Dragon, Chimera, the Paladins, more cheaper for people like play like for 2 mid seasons, and you can buy 1 skin. Okay, I think it's fine. Don't change
Yeah.
anything.
It's good. I still think we should have 2 special leagues running at the same time, like 2 different modes.
Yeah,
Play
I
like
agree.
Four-Star special league, and you can play like another special league or something. I think that'd just be fun.
Yeah, I agree, because I like more pre-ban season. It's more excited for me because I know accounts Topa and I get Topa. Okay, I don't play versus Barbara de Topa because I'm scared, you know? Yes, I like pre-ban stuff. It's enjoy. And the Topa, okay, last match Daniel gets the RG with the OK. Now I pre-ban the OK and let's play with another units. And all match you need to change your mind because you lost 1 unit you have. When people know you, of course, but I see a lot of stream the Topa try doing special league and people ban ragdoll first, and what Topa never has ragdoll, and it's okay.
I guess that's the thing why a lot of people don't like a pre-ban is because of the extra time sink that there is in it. If the pre-ban it takes up to like a minute, you can pre-ban, and it's like the time that you can check your monsters we have available to use, and then most of the time you don't even know your opponent, so you don't even know what they have. So yeah, I think that's why having like a more more special league formats, or like just having more special leagues running at the same time, so you can choose what you want to do. Since like this current 4-star special league, a lot of people I hear are like too lazy to change the runes from the 5 stars to the 4 stars, even though it's free, and now you got to do it with artifacts too, and it's just like a lot of work for almost nothing in special league. So just having like another special league run at the same time, or having different modes, because obviously they had 4-star. It's like the third or fourth time they had this special league too. So I think something like that, spice it up, would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice if they just added new modes. Like, there's so many ideas from people, and I'm pretty sure they got ideas too. I just don't know why. It's special league. It should be for fun. It shouldn't be like, I don't know why. I don't know if they're afraid to like experiment with that or what.
They should just allow us to test things in there, you know? Like, that's
Yeah.
what that should be for.
Yeah, it should be just fun, you know?
Mhm.
Feel like. Also, one thing I want to bring up from the Q&A, they had a question, the Q&A that happened, like, I don't know, it was recently about the guilds. The top guilds had some questions for contests, and they brought up the streamer mode thing. I want to talk about it. What do you guys think about streamer mode?
What was the streamer mode idea?
Streamer mode is like you not knowing who you're fighting until like the end of the game, or until the end of the pick ban phase.
Oh, just like blind matches? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think it's good for competition, to be honest. But it definitely favors people with well, okay, maybe not. It maybe doesn't favor people with better boxes. But I mean, it kind of does, right?
I feel like it's pretty good. Like it would be more like, it would make the game more skill. Let's be real. Like
It would. But
it
you also
would be
take
more of a drafting game, you know?
you take away a different skill to it, though. Like, for example, when I queue RTA, if I queue against a beat member, I almost always first pick Water Ryu instead of Okeanos.
Yeah.
But against a lot of other members, then I will almost always pick Okeanos first because it's a better default pick.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah,
but
there's
I don't know if
advantages.
that is like skilled knowing what someone has.
I understand your opinion, but we know when I stream in my wings, I try to have fun with my community. I know I try my best for to get my best rank. I wanna be like top 100s, like top 10, something like that. I know it's really hard when you try to do this on the stream because you get a lot of snipe there. Chinese, light darky players a lot, and people know your box because you wait people what's he gonna first pick, and you have the favorite units he tries to stole your unit sometimes. I understand a lot this because I see a lot of people first pick Yohong, but I never know this guy. And why this guy first pick Yohong? Maybe he'll watch my stream. I like your idea, but in the same opinion, if you are streaming your wings for hang out with people or try really hard, I know it's not good place for doing wings on stream because if you try really hard, people, oh God, how you can home Barbara? You can show for us. You have like the 320 on Barbara and okay, I will ban Barbara all the time because I never outspeed you if you're running Barbara to speed leader, you know? And this is changing a lot in the match. I understand you. But sometimes it's one game. Let's have fun. Let's maybe know people like Tyler, Topa, you, and we try have fun. RTA. I understand. I understand. I think the stream modes is better for people streaming like Siege, you know?
I
Like
think
close
it's a
the
good
chat.
thing. Like you wouldn't be forced to have it. Like you could choose if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it,
Yeah,
do
yeah,
what you
I
want on.
understand it because
I think
you
it's
need
pretty
it like.
healthy for the game overall. Like,
I understand. I
Okay,
understand.
I want to counterpoint that. I want to counterpoint that because I feel like what you're suggesting is you want the game to be more competitive and more skill based, right?
yeah, That's
My
definitely
counterpoint to that is that at the highest level, you will always know who you're fighting. And the reason for that is because in tournament play, you always know who you're fighting. Preparation is an important skill and probably one of the most important in the tournaments. Years and years throughout SWC, we have seen players who excel past other players specifically because they did better and more research on that player. People who are complete underdogs, people who are most likely in positions where they shouldn't or they're unfavored, right? Jeff did a ton, like JMac did a ton of preparation for SWC last year, right? And did absolutely incredible because of all the preparation that he put into it, right? Whereas in some of those matches too, like some people just put no preparation in and you see it. Like, because they'll draft something and it's like they literally just lost in draft because they didn't know what that other person was going to set up and they planned for it, right? If you just bring your ladder draft into a tournament, you're just going to get shit on.
The thing is, you're never gonna know who you're fighting on ladder. You don't know. It's gonna be completely random. In a tournament, you're gonna know who you're fighting, so
but
you
is
will
there
be
any
able to prepare.
Preparing your tournament skills on ladder?
There's nothing wrong with it, but yeah.
I just feel like taking away that like ability and I guess taking away that extra like little bit of skill capping, I think is unnecessary. Is really what it is to me.
I just feel like the game is there's a lot of like non-skill things in the game. I feel like that would be a good thing, There's accuracy resistance, there's violent procs, there's the spare procs, there's a lot of RNG things, So that would be one of the things I thought that would help out with the game, become more competitive.
I most definitely want to see it in a special league. I don't know if I want to see it directly implemented to a like ladder, right? I feel like with ladder that's a big change and a big adjustment. It's kind of like if we added pre-ban to ladder, like that would be a huge change, a huge adjustment, right?
Yeah.
But
I would definitely love to see it in special league first. Yeah, I agree.
I just wanted to bring up the counterpoint to discuss it and see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But on ladder we don't have a lot of players too, because you have like 1K players fighting on D1, D2, and D3, and if you play like 2 years in these random ranks, you can know a lot of people's. This guy has Nefet's Diana Ragdoll. Oh, this guy has Ragdoll. Oh, this guy has Jaeger. Oh, this guy has Smolyak Rama draft. Because you can predict the draft people learning. If he OnceInLuv fights versus me on RTA, oh, this guy has You're Wrong. Julian, hey Tate, I know this. And you can running around. People don't need take the unit, but you can run around. And if you're running like 3 modes, you need to close your name into the game too, because people know you because you still high rank, TopaV, people know TopaV, people know OnceInLuv, people know GodAcog, Stoic too, Oh, this guy after Ragdoll a lot. It's the truth, it's the game.
Yeah. It just be like that. At the end of the day, it's always just going to be like a loop. It's just like a discussion point repeatedly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to call it there. I'm going to wrap it up. We've been going on for a little more than an hour and a half, but I mean, it was good. We just kept going because there was just more to talk about. So next time you guys are available, let me know. I'd love to have you guys again on the podcast, whether it's the 4 of us again, or if it's just, a couple of us here and there. Just, reach out to me, reach out to Stoic. We'll always be looking forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you, chat, as well, for being here, providing questions, just kind of being a part of this. Seeing you guys come to the stream as well as commenting on the YouTube videos and stuff really does enforce the idea and give us that positive affirmation that we should continue doing what we're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much, ACOG. Thank you so much, Mr. DanielKarioka, as well as Topa. I really appreciate having you guys here. Anything else you guys want to say before we head off?
Much. Good luck farming.
Good luck farming. True.
Good luck farming.
Thank you for inviting me again, and I appreciate it. Have a nice day or night, whatever you are.
Thanks for having me. Everyone, stay safe. Take care.
Yeah, stay safe. Be well. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for week 6 of the podcast.
Bye.
Hopefully soon. And right after this, I'll upload last week's. Just had a lot of a lot of internet troubles. So my apologies. But thank you so much, and see ya.
Bye.
Later.
Later.